welcome to another episode of the Launch Button Podcast. Today, we got some special guests to talk about their journey through real estate investing and how they've gone out there and fired their boss, they've launched their careers, and continue to build the life of their dreams as they're going through this process. We've got two of our amazing examples of how you can go out there and apply training, knowledge, follow through, continuous daily actions to reach success. We've got Amanda and Joe. Say hi.
Hey, everyone.
Joe currently still works as a sergeant in the New York Police Department, and Amanda has fired a boss and retired thanks to Joe and their team effort here as a wonderful couple, showing how couples can work together to build their business and reach the level of their dreams. They're now get to stay, Amanda gets to stay home with the kids, enjoy the life, gets to go to homecoming and all these things that she never got to do before. And so as we're going through this process, we're just going to back up here real fast so that we can get their story and learn a little bit about how they got started. So I know, Joe, you first read the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and tell everybody how that journey started.
I was in a place where my wife got pregnant with our second child, and I had to take a deep look at myself and realize that I wasn't like the son, the father, the provider that I wanted and really needed to be. So I knew I had to take action. And part of that action was reading the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And what I saw in that book, I couldn't see. It changed my whole perspective on mindset, business, and investing. Then I went searching for avenues to, take action in. And then I chose real estate. And that changed the whole game for me and my wife. Real estate and taking action.
And Amanda was super supportive right from the very start, right?
No one was on board. Not really. Amanda was like, yeah, cool story, bro. And she said that she'll support me in whatever I wanted to do, whatever hobby I want to do. Just don't touch my pension. Because working for the city, that's pretty much the most important thing. And then I told my family, and no one believes. But in my heart, I knew that this was the way, and I needed to take extreme actions to make a real difference in the trajectory of where my family and life were going.
Yeah. And so, Amanda, when he first came to you with the idea of investing in real estate, what was your first thought?
Cool story, bro. Like that is the line. Exactly. It was don't touch my pension. Have fun. I will be your cheerleader. I will support you that way. But go have at it. Really didn't think he was going to do so well. Thought we were just going to buy one, sell it, and then be about get the itch gone. That's really what I thought was going to happen.
And then Joe just kept going.
Oh yeah, he did.
So Joe, your first property, as you go back and think about that, I know you guys have over 40 doors and lots of deals since then. Were you a little nervous on that first deal?
Oh yeah, I was real nervous. We actually took a line of credit out on our apartment. So we really betted on ourselves to make it happen. And going in, I was so scared. But in a few short months, I realized that I could do it again. It was different, not difficult. And once I realized that, I decided to get more studying in and keep it going and try to be around people who are also doing the same things.
Awesome. And Amanda, when did you jump in?
So it took me a couple of houses in. So by the time I think Joe had about 4 or 5 houses under his belt, I was like, wait a minute, you're doing something here. Like, you're actually pretty good at this. Like, what's going on? And I finally started jumping in at that point. He got me involved with the community of real estate investors. And I still remember to this day, I was like, what kind of cult did you just bring me into? Because that's what it had to be. Nothing is good. It always has to be something bad. That's the cop in me. I don't believe anything. And I was like, what cult is this? And people were like, this isn't a cult. This is just real people doing real things and we can survive and do great. And I was like, ooh, I want in. And that was it for me.
And that's when you guys really accelerated and took off. But let's just back up for 1 second. Let's just be clear on that. You were supportive on that. And that's where I think a lot of spouses, you were supportive, but not fully buying in. You're like, I'll support you, do your thing as long as it doesn't affect our finances, correct? Like that
Correct.
type of thing in the family.
Oh, definitely. I will always be his biggest cheerleader, still am to this day. But it was never, I wasn't involved. He didn't really show me, like I saw the houses, but I wasn't really like, oh my God, this one's beautiful. Did you see this listing? Like, I never did that. It was like, hey, babe, look, I see this house. The numbers are great. And I'm like, okay, have fun. Like, that was the extent of my support for him. But it wasn't, I've always had his back, but it was never in a negative way. I just really didn't think it was going to go this far.
Yeah. And that's a key thing for spouses and everything. Yeah, like having the back is huge because that gave Joe the power and the confidence to keep going, even though he knew you weren't fully on board, but you weren't also tearing it down at the same time. So that is awesome. And then we got a chance to meet in that real estate investor community,
Yep.
right? As you guys were getting started. So tell me a little bit about that from your experience.
So it was interesting that first investor meeting. So for me, I was nowhere near this world. I wasn't in it. It's another language. And if you don't know that language, the people there know you don't know that language. So it was hard to get into. Like with you, it was not that it was hard to talk with you, but at first I was like, oh my God, who is this guy? He knows so much. I want to sit at his table and talk with him. And I was like, wait, I need to learn this. And it was just to see people that were just like me, that were 9 to 5 people, that had jobs, moms that had kids that wanted to do better for themselves. So that community was what just did it for me. And it was just to see that they're normal humans. It's not the cults that people thought it was or that I thought it was, but it was amazing.
And for you, Joe?
Yeah, once I saw the community, I was skeptical also, but I also knew I had some houses under my belt. I had some knowledge, but now I could go to people and, what they're saying, I can actually confirm. And then I got to meet more and more people from all different walks of life, all different education levels, people that used to be homeless, all the way to people who had their own practices as doctors, all coming together in real estate and bouncing ideas off each other because they're interested in increasing their community and helping each other, increasing their network. Because at the end of the day, your network is your net worth. You have a strong network, you could pretty much get anything you want.
Yeah, and we got introduced, full disclosure for everybody, we got introduced to an associate that introduced us, and they brought Joe and Amanda to our community of real estate investors. And that's the power of a mastermind. That's the power of a community. And for all of you, everybody listening on here, we'll talk about at the end of this how you can be part of something similar to that in the future. And then what I really appreciate about you two is that every time you showed up, you did what you said you were going to do, right? And as coaches and mentors and people, it's all about the people that follow through, because I get so many yes, yeah, Hugh, I'll go do that, and then they don't do anything. Then they come back to me like, hey, I didn't do anything, right? But every time we told you two to do something, you're like, okay, I did it, now what? And I was like, wait, you actually did it, right? Like, you guys did that. Hey, you want to run a meeting for this? You're like, yeah, I want to run a meeting for this. Okay, do this and put people in the room. And then you were like, well, we did. Okay, so I'll go talk at it, right? That was what was great about being able to work with the two of you guys. You guys are so coachable, so easy to like move in the direction once you get in there. And what I love about what you've done also is you've included your kids in the process. So talk a little bit about how you've included your kids in the process.
Oh, so that was easy. The kids are the easy part because, of course, they got no choice. Mom and dad are going. You got to come along with us. So
hold on. In today's world, that isn't actually true for a lot of parents, right? Now, I know it's true for you two. I know your mindset, and you're like, that's easy. But for a lot of parents, getting them involved in an entrepreneur business, getting them to do chores and things along with the process is not so easy in today's world.
You are right, but there was no choice with our kids. They didn't have an option. Our parents didn't give us options growing up. We didn't give them, not that our kids don't have options, but this is what mommy and daddy are doing. We're going to do this together as a family, but we also give incentive. We're not dragging them along and they're miserable. Yeah, they kind of are miserable sometimes because who wants to paint? But they get paid. So the girls are getting paid. They get to pick what we're going to have for dinner that night while we're out there painting, and they'll pick their favorite restaurant. So we do incentives on it, but then they also see that we have a goal in mind. So the year that I decided to retire, we told the girls, this is going to be the toughest year we're going to have. We're going to be in these houses painting because we need to save up some money, but daddy and mommy are really good at painting. And they came along, but at the end of the year, mommy's retiring. So the girls had an incentive. They had a goal. And that makes it easier to drag the kids along with you when they have some incentive involved. And we've done that since day one. We always make sure we put some form of incentive along with it. Just like when they're doing chores, you got to give them some incentive.
And I gave them the guarantee that at the end of the year, mommy will be home. We'll be spending more time as a family. We'll be traveling more and doing more. And I ended up taking off like 80 days off of work that year. sometimes staying up at projects for weeks at a time, just to make sure that we said what we wanted to do, and we were going to make it happen. And we didn't only incentivize the kids with the guarantee, but also we told people to hold us accountable. Now we wrote it down so we could see it every day, to make it real, and not typing it out, but actually writing it out, having it come out of you, so you could see it. It hits harder when you actually have to write it down, and then you tell somebody that you really respect, that this is what's going to happen, that you're going to do it, and then you get it done.
Well, I give you guys a lot of credit, right? That because you guys have done that every time you set a goal that I know. You've hit the goal, you've been there, you're like, hey, we're going to do this, whether it's speaking, whether it's training, whether it's investing, right? You continue to say, okay, I want that next thing. And then you go make it happen. And that's a huge compliment, because there's not a lot of people that have that drive and that follow through. A lot of people have the drive, they just don't want to do the work. And you two definitely do the work behind it.
Well, I always go back and I still remember a conversation I had with you in the very beginning, really early on. You taught the Airbnb class, and I still remember watching it and telling Joel, I'm going to get an Airbnb one day. I'm going to get an Airbnb. I'm going to go talk to Hugh about it. And I remember asking, I don't remember what the question was, but I asked you a question, and you gave me that look and you went, you didn't watch the class, did you? Those were your exact words. And I sat there, I was like, crap, he called me out on it. I didn't finish yet. And I literally turned around and walked away. After that, I was like, nope, this is an action guy. I got to do the work before I come up with questions. I can't be that no nonsense person. And ever since then, that stuck with me. And I'm like, nope. Hugh's gonna know I didn't do it. I got to go do it.
It's funny. I know Amanda and I bonded the very first night. We went out after some of our meetings. We go have a little fun. And there's a situation that came up. We just gave each other a look across the room, and then we had like a 10-minute conversation in a 5-second look. And that was the extent of it. Like, oh, you get that, you saw that. Yeah. What I love is your guys' background as law enforcement, and you see behind the curtain, right? A lot of people want to be flashy. A lot of people want to show off what they have, but they don't have the substance behind the curtain. And your detective skills, obviously, both of you, right, are quick and easy to figure out what's real and what's not. And you don't fall into the hype bucket where a lot of people are all, hey, about me, about me. You two are two of the quietest people that have probably the most property in our local community, and you're two of the most quiet people about what you have. So it's a huge compliment for you both.
Thank you.
So now, right, you started out investing. Now, what's the goal? What's the path? Where are we headed?
Well, now we are public speakers, thanks to Hugh and his Express with Impact class. We're better able to spread our message. And really, we got on the job, the NYPD, to change the world. Then we realized we could only change one person at a time. And that starts for yourself. So we're changing the way we do things, changing personal and business. And now we want to go out there and help people see that they can do it too, to change one person at a time. And that eventually will change the world. So that's what we're doing through public speaking. We're also real estate agents now, showing people that they can buy houses, whether investment or personal, running marathons now to increase our vitality.
Yeah,
And
just Joe on that, right?
Just Joe on the marathons. I'll be the cheerleader again on that one.
Yeah.
Just trying to just do our part and give first, because giving is more fulfilling. And I know a lot of people go after the money, but the money has to be the byproduct of the goal. It can't be the goal. Changing people's lives and helping them see that there is a brighter future, that's fulfilling. And if there's money that comes with that, great. But seeing somebody change their life and come back and saying, thank you for helping me out, that's the real win.
That's the thing that motivates you, I know. Right. And you get mad when people don't do the things like you do, which is something I know you've been going through, where you're starting to train people and put them through the process. But tell me a little bit about, you said one person at a time. Now you're actually on the ability, you're speaking on some of the stages and platforms for the NYPD for some of the different things. So tell me a little bit about how that's transitioned for you.
But it's interesting because I got invited to a group and they saw that I was giving value. So then they invited us to public speaking event, and unbeknownst to us, we went through the event, and at the end, it was like, oh, why don't you stand up and talk? And I was like, oh, tell your story and your journey and everything. And then when we were done, people were lined up to talk to us, and we stood after on our own time just to talk to people and give them a little bit of knowledge that we have and to help people out. And then by doing that, they actually invited us to come and be an instructor at the financial seminar to talk about specifically real estate and real estate investing. And by giving, I was able to be presented, me and Amanda were able to be presented with opportunities. And it seems like the more you give with the purpose of just trying to give, the more opportunities will eventually come.
Well, and speak about, so just so everybody's clear, because I know that's your world, but a lot of people outside of the three of us right now don't fully understand what that is. So that's the financial, what did you call it?
Financial seminar.
Financial seminar for the NYPD,
Yes.
right? And being able to teach other cops and other law enforcement about how to invest in real estate and just sort of share your story in essence. And so if there's any other, you're listening in another state or another location and you've got some law enforcement that needs a speaker, right? We've got Joe and Amanda that will definitely come out there and share their information with you in the future. But at the very first boot camp, you had a little bit of, and then we'll come to Amanda here in a second, put you through an exercise and you had a hard time separating you and Amanda's brain, right? And so, and I know it was a very tough turning spot for you because you always considered yourselves as one. And I was like, Joe, what's your story, right? What do you do? And so now that you've sort of separated a little bit, tell me a little bit about what that's done for you on the speaking stage.
It's definitely allowed me to like tell my story in my own way and show them from my perspective. Like I said, I got to separate myself to show from like my perspective and then from a perspective coming from a couple. So and that allows me to talk to more people in a meaningful way. Because if it's just a single guy, I could talk to him directly in the language he understands. But if it's a couple that's trying to do things, I can talk to them and be able to talk to them in the way they understand. So it definitely helps me get the message across better and to show like I'm my own person and that I love my wife and she's there, but she could do her thing, I could do my thing, and then we could come together and do our thing together.
And I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that some couples make. And at the beginning, you guys had that a little bit where it was like everything had to be done together versus sometimes it's better to be separate but still come together. And I know, Amanda, you felt that way too, because when you first came to us about, you're like, I don't have a story, right? You're like, I want to speak on stages, but I don't really have a story. So tell us a little bit about that and your story from your perspective.
So it's funny because that's exactly what I told you when I walked in. I was like, I don't have a story. I have our story, but I don't have a story. I don't feel that I was impactful. Like, how am I supposed to help people and change people's not minds, but like change people and have them come and listen to me if I don't have a story? My story is what it was. Joe got into real estate. Joe bought a bunch of houses. Then I finally joined in because he was doing well. Like, that's what I felt my story was. And just sitting there with you. And what I like is that it was the breakthrough without the breakdown. I didn't have to be beaten up to get the story out. And I was like, wait, I do have a story. My story is really good. Like, I really like it. I wanted to help people. I became NYPD to help people. And I wasn't getting that. I wasn't getting that fulfillment there. And realizing that I could do so much more. While Joe was into real estate, I was like, fine, good for you, bro. Have fun. And that's what I did. And I still cheered him on. But I grew my NYPD career and I became a detective, which is a big accomplishment on my half. And after I became a detective, I realized, wait, I'm still not, I don't have that. I'm not helping enough. Like, I wasn't doing anything. And everybody knows what happened in 2020, but that wasn't the year that changed it for me. It was actually 2022. I was the heaviest I ever was in my life. I hated myself. I hated where I was going. I wasn't happy in my marriage. Like, I felt like I wasn't being the good wife that I could be. Wasn't being the good mom. I was at work more than I saw my kids. And in 22, that's when I told Joe, I was like, I need to do something. And that's when he was like, well, what do we need to do to make you happy? And to sit there and have your spouse tell you that, I was like, oh my God, I got asked, what do I need? And I was like, I don't know exactly, but it's just not right. Also, my grandmother passed away, that was my rock. She was amazing. She was also an investor. So that it made me realize I can't let what she did go to vain. And Joe and I came up with the plan for 2023. I lost 110 pounds. I decided I wasn't gonna miss out on my kids' events. I said, sorry, job, I'm out. I'm not putting my kids on the back burner. I'm not putting my husband on that back burner. And 2024, I decided to leave. I was like, I'm out. I'm NYPD, you did great for me, but peace out. I'm staying home with my kids and enjoying my husband and my kids. And it was the best thing. But I never would have gotten that story if I wasn't there with you guys, because I didn't feel I had that in me. So that's it was amazing.
Yeah, and we took a little bit to get that out of you, but once you did, like, you've got a super powerful story, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. Everybody's got their own individual story, and it's really powerful. It's just packaging it together and getting it the right way for you. And that was one of the great things. And for Joe to come to you, and it touches my heart, the fact that he said, "Well, do whatever you want to do just to make you happy, right? I just want you to be happy." Like, I don't know how many husbands have come to their wives and actually made that statement. So I applaud you, Joe, for that. That gave her the support and power she needed to go do that. Amanda, you're also talking at these financial events. So tell us a little bit from your perspective on that.
So it's actually pretty interesting. So Joe goes a lot more than I do. I make sure I go when there are more female organizations that are going to be there. If we know the organization, it just in general, like certain organizations are the ones that I will go to because I have more of an impact. Definitely the female one was by far my favorite, Police Women's Endowment. And just to speak on that stage as a mom. And it was, the funny part is the guy that runs the seminars that sees Joe all the time tells Joe, I don't even want you here. I want Amanda. Like, that's who we want. And for him to say that, I was like, yeah, he wants me. And it was great. But just to see that and to tell these women, like, hey, we're here to be with our kids. And I am not bashing NYPD. NYPD was a great job. It did amazing things for me. I love it. I still, every once in a while, I do miss it. I say I miss the clowns, not the circus. But to sit there and speak to these women and to explain to them, like, hey, do you want to travel? Do you want to do, there's other things that we can do besides killing ourselves 9 to 5 every day. And it's just, once I found my story, it became more impactful because I did one speech without my story. And to see the two of them, it's completely different. And I really do enjoy giving my speeches out now.
I know, and you know what to do with your hands.
Yeah, you know what to do with your hands.
But Sharon Lecter taught me what to do with my hands. So I'm doing very well with my hands lately.
Yes. And so that's one of the things that I love about the two of you. And I love your kids too. I got my stitch over here, my best stitch ever. I know it's not behind me, so I don't want Aubrey to get mad at me. But what I love about what you've done with your kids and your family is you've brought them along. So even when I make you speak on stages, and I do make them speak on stages sometimes when they're not really fully prepared, we shoot videos, we do all of the things. But what I've loved is I didn't even invite you technically to the DA event. You guys were just like, we're going, right? We're going to make it one of our trips. We're going to go and show up with the kids. And then it's just like, well, you're here. Let's incorporate you in it. We got you speaking on that stage and different stages like that. So what I love about them is they put themselves in a position for success. Instead of avoiding it, they're willing to take on the challenge and they're willing to say yes to the opportunities. So you had Dan Fleischman come to New York City and Dr. Greg Kimball came here for an event. And if you guys don't know who Dan Fleischman is, he runs the Aspire Tour and things like that. And they were like, yeah, we'll be there. We'll be there. It was a Friday and Saturday and got a chance for them to meet that. And now we've got some opportunities there. And that's the thing, when you say yes to life and yes to opportunities, more keep showing up. So
like you say, if you agree with 70 to 80% of what it is, do it. The most important part is being in the room. And that's what we're trying to do, be in the room around like-minded people that are trying to make a difference and try to advance their life and career.
Well, you're not just trying, you're actually doing. So I'm going to give you that coaching lesson again here, Joe. You're doing it, right? You're doing it more than most. So what would you share with viewers out there that are thinking about getting started in real estate or thinking about starting their entrepreneur journey, Joe? From your perspective, what would you share with them to get them to take that first action?
Well, the lesson I learned from the community, you have to be before you can do and do before you can have. And you really have to see what you want to do. You really internalize it and then go get educated on it. Go get educated, be around the people that are doing it, like really give a full-fledged effort. And you're not going to see astounding results on day 1 or day 2, but every day you get a little bit better every single day. And before you'll be able to do some of the things that you see your mentors do or see people that are a little bit ahead of you do. And you can do it. Some people, they don't want to take risks, but the more educated you are, the more you run the right people, the less risky it is. And you can't spell millionaire without a few L's, right? Everybody's going to take a little L. Just make sure it's a little L, and the more educated you are, the better you'll be.
Awesome. Amanda, same question for you. People just getting started, wanted to jump into it. What would be your advice to them?
My takeaway is, and I tell this to myself still to this day, is get out of your own way. Get out of your own way, because I was always in my way. I am the biggest self-sabotage. I would say that I can't do it. I can't do it. Nope, nope, nope. I'm not good enough. Get out of your own way and do the work. Find yourself a group of people that are doing what you want to do, or even just a group of people that will support you in whatever it is, and do the work. Because when you do the work, it will come back. It may take time, but it will come back. And I always tell people to don't judge your day one to my day 100. I did a lot of work to get here. Joe did a lot of work for me to get here to my day one. So don't judge your day one to my day 100. You'll get there if you do the work.
Yeah, I think that both of you guys got very sound advice, but especially that last part there about don't judge your day to your 100, right? Because that's a huge difference. And a lot of people don't see the work that goes in behind the scenes. Everybody, like, people are like, Hugh, I can do events like you, or Hugh, I can do that like you. And I was like, yeah, you haven't seen the reps. And what I love about you two is you guys just go do the reps. Like, and that's one of the biggest things. And as Joe said, you can't spell millionaire without a few L's. You're going to have some losses. You're going to have some mistakes. You're going to have those things. But if you surround yourself with the right people, the right masterminds, the right opportunities, you're going to have that ability to have a less of an L, right? You're still going to take the L. You still got to take the losses, because just like with kids, people got to go through their growing pains, right? We can try and protect them. We can do all of that and be able to do that. So, and now you guys have moved out of the city, right? You're upstate. You're super far up there, right? Joe's got the tractor to mow his lawn. So tell me a little bit about the life you've created for your kids and your family.
So we really wanted to get out of the city. We're both city born and raised, love the city. I'm from the Bronx, Joe's from Queens. But we weren't liking the way the school system was going. And you always want to do better than your parents did. And we sat there and we were like, we can get ourselves a really tiny house in the city for the same price. And pre-COVID, thankfully, we were able to get something upstate. We have land, the girls can run, they play manhunt in the backyard. We have the pool. Like, it's living the dream, and it's something that we never thought we could get because we were just these kids from the city. And our girls are thriving. They're playing sports that I don't think they would have played in the city. Our oldest is in wrestling. The little one takes jujitsu. Our little one is playing the clarinet. City schools don't play instruments. So it was just, oh, it's amazing what we have growing up here, and I love it.
Yeah, it's the peace of mind. And I tell the children, like, we did homecoming, and there was like a homecoming parade, and then the football game, and then the dance. And I'm there looking around. I was like, this was like a Hallmark movie. And I tell the kids, like, your life is like what I saw on TV growing up. And tell them, like, to be thankful for what you have, because this took a lot of work to get here.
Yeah. And let me ask you this. Was it well worth it? Because, I mean, look, you're working your job, right? So you're both working jobs. So you don't have a lot of free time. You're starting real estate investing on the side. So you're rehabbing houses. You're doing all that. And you tried that at first without a group, right? And then all of a sudden you're doing it with the group, which takes up more time. And then I asked you to travel more with me around the country and things like that. Would you trade it?
No.
No.
Not at all. This is the life we didn't know we were going to have. And the easiest way is it's something that I didn't know we needed, and I'm glad we have it. Because in the beginning, when we did it, well, when Joe did it by himself, I saw that it was hard for him. And especially with me not being fully fledged into it, it was hard. When we got people that understood us, it became easier. Once we really got immersed in the community, it became easier. And not that we can do deals with our friends and with our community. We're not doing deals with them, but that we can sit there and go, hey, Hugh, I got this house. Can you just help me look at these numbers? Something doesn't look right. Or, hey, I'm curious about Airbnbs. I took the class, but I'm not sure. Can you help me explain? Like, to sit there and have people that I can physically talk to and touch has been amazing. And I wouldn't change it. Let's keep traveling. Let's go. The girls are ready. Our bags are packed. They just stay packed. We don't even unpack them anymore.
And then, and
Awesome.
it also helped us grow personally, like, and not just on the business side, but helped us be better people, better able to understand where people are coming from, better able to communicate, and really, if something's going on with us, we're able more to like look within and figure it out, and then go to work at it. And then that's just as important as buying real estate and having friends. We learn how to be happy with ourselves and to push ourselves to be better, and then be able to go out there and show the world that they can do it.
Yeah, I mean, look, you decided to run a marathon like what was it, 90 days beforehand? You just like, I'm gonna go run 26 miles because you ran all the time, right?
Nope, I called up the guy, but after Mastermind in Colorado, we came back home to change some things with personal and business, and we're going over a few things. And Amanda's like, "Didn't you say you want to run a marathon before?" I was like, yeah, but it's only like 90 days left." And she's like, "Well, stop being a bitch. Like, just do it." So I was like, I called up a friend of mine that helped with real estate, who was on the running team, and he got me a spot on the running team to run the marathon. And then he asked, "What's your running experience?" And I was like, "I start tomorrow."
Yeah. And we're talking about the New York City Marathon, not just local marathon. We're talking about one of the biggest marathons, the top 7 in the world. You're just like 90 days beforehand. I've never really run. I'm gonna start running, and I'm just gonna run a marathon.
Yeah,
I
and
told you, I'll be your biggest hype man. I've always been the hype man. So, hey, you need somebody, I got your corner. I really didn't think he was going to go. And he did amazing at 26 miles. I couldn't believe he did it in less than 90 days in training. And not even a real training program. Like he kind of faked it and he still did really well.
Yeah.
yeah,
And what was your time?
under 5 hours
Yeah.
first time. So I'm looking to do it again and take a half hour off my time. But after he asked, "What's your running experience?" And I start tomorrow, and he's like, he's like, "Damn, you don't make me look bad." And I was like, "No, I promise, I won't make you look bad." And then I went to people in my community in the mastermind. And I told them this is what I'm doing, so they can hold me accountable. Because now people see that you're doing it personally, you're doing it in business. You say you're gonna run a marathon, you do it in the health, and basically, if you say something, you're gonna do it. It just gives you more credibility when something does happen or an opportunity comes up. They know this guy always delivers. He's gonna deliver, and that's the goal for myself to be there. If I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna deliver the best way I can.
Awesome. And Amanda, I know you're doing the same thing. Like you're getting up now. It's a podcast, so once it's out there, it's out there. You at 5 a.m. Mark, I see you doing that, making that big change, and you started walking every morning. And so, what's your commitment on there?
So I've been going to the gym at 5 a.m. I try to go 4 days a week. I got some goals. I want to look good. I lost 110 pounds and I thought I can just, lost weight. Yes, proud of myself for losing the weight, but I thought that's all I needed to do. And I'm like, wait, no, I still need to work some stuff off and work on my arms a little bit. So my brother-in-law meets me at the gym at 5 a.m. There's no excuses. He's like, I'm here, you're here. And I've been doing it. It's rough, but I feel good and I feel accomplished. When I get home, it's 6:30 and I'm like, oh, I finished already. Now my day can get going and it feels great.
And that's really big, right? Joe having a trainer there, sort of a coach to walk you through the process, and you having your brother-in-law to hold you accountable, right? We talk all the time about being accountable and your CDAs, and it's so much easier when you have a community, when you have a mastermind, when you have people behind you to go ahead and do that. So
Community definitely helps, because on those days when I had to run 10, 12, 18 miles on the weekend to prepare, and I really didn't want to, because I did something stupid like chop down a tree the day before, and my back is killing me. And I was like, I got to get this done because I said I was going to get it done.
The best with the community too is I sit there and I tell people, like, you don't think you really need it until you start seeing the little things. And it's not even with real estate. The community that we're part of, the day that Joe ran the marathon, they were cheering him on in the chat. Come on, Joe. He's at mile 10. He's at mile 15. And he can't see it, but I'm reading it. And I'm just thinking this is amazing. Like, to see people that actually have our back. It was nice to have how a group of them actually ran the last mile, like wherever they lived. So we have people in Canada, in California, in Colorado. that were running that last mile with him. And it was just so cool. Like, I'm running it with you. And they're taking videos, one biked it. And it was just amazing to hear, like, wow, people have our back. Like we always do for everybody else, but it was to finally get a group of people that have our back. And I was like, yeah, this is where I belong. Like, this is it. Like, we're good. At least for now, we're good. I'm like, I'm perfectly fine. These are my people. We belong here.
Yeah, we definitely realized how important community is now. Because now I said I wanted to run a marathon. Then my brother-in-law was like, oh, maybe I'll do a body competition. I always wanted to do that. So now he did a body competition and he won a medal there. And now it's like, well, man is going to the gym now. And now it's like I see like Jose online Thanksgiving going to the gym. And now it's like, look, I gotta go to the gym because they're going to the gym. They're taking care of themselves. I need to take care of myself too. And like that positive energy just feeds off each other. And because we're just trying to make each other better. It's not a competition, it's collaboration.
Yeah, and it's just that ripple effect, right? And we don't understand how often when we change ourselves, the ripple it has on you, on your family, on your kids, and future generations, just because you took these steps, right? You guys said you grew up as city kids and you were a little jaded, going into law enforcement, seeing the underbelly of the world and seeing a lot of the bad things. And, to see that and come out with the right mindset and be able to shift and then surround yourself with people. And now you're getting pushed to those opportunities and just seeing the ripple it's had. Like you said, Joe, you started training, that had an impact here, that impacts somebody else. And we never quite know where that goes in the future. And that's why I love masterminds. That's why I love coaching people, because of that. Like, it's not only affecting you, but it's affecting future generations as we grow and expand all the different things that we're doing. So should we let them in on a little secret?
Go for it.
If you've enjoyed this podcast, if you've enjoyed hanging out with us here, you're learning some of these things. We are launching a new mastermind here. Infinity Launch Mastermind is launching, and you got to be some of the founding members. Just reach out to one of the three of us to learn more about it. We worked with a lot of $1 to $10 million business owners as they're scaling up. If you want to be a part of that network, you're going to get access to some of those different things as well as we expand this nationwide. So just reach out to Amanda, Joe, or myself, and we'll get you connected on how to go ahead and do that on the mini mastermind. And as I said, it's about surrounding yourself with the right people so you can move in the right direction. Obviously, Amanda, Joe are action takers, and they are having that ripple effect and making things happen, not only locally, but across the country and internationally now. As we grow and take this, and we're going to get them on more stages, more opportunities. If you want them to come speak at one of your events, reach out for that. And before we wrap up, anything you want to share with the listeners?
Do the work. Do the work and get in the room. Getting in the room is half the battle. If you get into the room and do the work that you're being told, good things will come. They will come back to you if you do the work.
Yeah, definitely do the work. Put your purpose and your family first. Everything else will fall into place. Give first. Give first, give second, give third, and eventually everything will work out.
And we meet in person once a month, if not more. Those of you guys in this mastermind, you'll be meeting with us weekly to go over different things. But if you want to come hang out with us once a month, reach out as well to talk real estate, business, entrepreneur, health, wealth, vitality, community. Come join us. And I want to appreciate you guys for being here. I love your family. I love your kids. I love what you guys are building. And it's just been a pleasure to watch you grow and watch you take your businesses and your speaking abilities to the next level. So we look forward to seeing everybody on the next episode of The Launch Button. Have a great day and just keep taking the action. And as they say, do the work.
Thank
See you next
you.
time.
Love you more.
Do the work.
Thank you for joining us on the Launch Button Podcast, your gateway to unlocking your true potential and pursuing your passions. Don't let the journey end here. For more empowering insights, valuable resources, exclusive content, and free giveaways, visit www.thelaunchbuttonpodcast.com.